We'll go ahead and call the meeting of the January 8th, 2026 Board of Supervisors regular meeting to order. First of all, I would like to congratulate Mr. Long for his reelection and Mr. Harris for the election. Looking forward to working with everybody. The first item we have on the agenda is the invocation. Mr. Long, you had indicated.
Yes, I'd like to say Happy New Year to everyone. My pastor from Galilee, I'm back at church in Eastville, Reverend Dr. Donald Taylor.
Amen. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you with our hearts filled with thanksgiving as we anticipate the marvelous blessings for 2026. We thank you, Lord, for being a God of love who offers us brand new mercies each day. Lord, we thank you for allowing us to gather to celebrate the awesome work of the Northumberland County Board of Supervisors as they help to build and strengthen our community. We give thanks to God for all those who serve on the Board of Supervisors and their staff members who make sacrifices on behalf of our community. We pray that even during the challenging times that they will and we will remember to go to God for his guidance, his strength, and for his wisdom to lead us to a path of victory. Lord, may we all be endowed with your love, peace, and your grace to endure whatever comes before us. For we are reminded that each of us is created in the image of God, with God-given value and worth. May God bless the work of Northumberland County Board of Supervisors as they be protected from hurt, harm, and danger as they support each other and continue to fulfill the work of the people. In the name of our Lord, whose perfect love sets us free from all our fears, we say together, Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Great. And have Mr. Dave Taylor, if he could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. This is the board's organizational meeting for the calendar year 2026. So we have several business items to take care of. The first item is the election of chair for 2026. We'll open the floor for nominations.
I'd like to make a motion that we would like Jimmy Ryan as the chairman.
All right. Have a motion. Is there a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Ms. Brand, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate the trust, and I'm been looking at each and every one of you for guidance.
Congratulations.
Oh, I get a hammer too. No nails. Figure that one out. All right, next on the agenda would be the election of the vice chair.
I'd like to make a nomination to nominate Mr. Chip Williams to hold the position of Northumberland County Board of Supervisors Vice Chairman.
Second. Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Let's have it.
Jay to trust it.
Congratulations.
All right. Next up will be the approval of the adoption of the bylaws for this year. We have any discussion on those, Mr. Gregory?
Recommend approval.
Okay. It was one thing in that we've seen. It was difference in the times, and in some instances, the speaker speaking at a public hearing has 6 minutes And then we get into public comments. A person has 4 minutes, and if you're speaking for a group, you have 6 minutes. Does the board want to leave it like it is, or do we want to set a set time for all of it to be the same?
You say 6 minutes?
Some of it is 6, some of it is 4.
I would say we leave it like it is.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It's a motion. Right.
I'll second it. So, okay, do we need a motion for not to accept the change, but we need a motion to approve the bylaws?
You would need a motion to approve the bylaws as presented if you want to make no changes and leave as is.
I move that we approve the bylaws
As presented.
as presented.
Okay, I'll second it. Right. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Scheduled date for the Board of Supervisors meetings. Has everybody had time to review those dates for the meeting? Like we got a meeting for January 8th, February 12th, March 12th, April 9th, May 14th, June 11th, July the 9th, August 13th, September 10th, October 8th, November 12th, and December the 10th, and back again January 14th for 2027. Also,
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, that is for the second Thursday at 5:30 p.m.
Right.
each month. It's to set a time.
Right. Need a motion?
No question. Are we looking at the same holiday calendar that is it identical in time off for county employees as it was last year?
We made some changes.
This follows the state holiday schedule. So I believe the board did do some modifications if it was like a half day for Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve this year, the state is giving the full day.
Chill.
but right now, we're just approving the meeting dates and times.
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
Ready?
Yep.
I move that we approve the meeting date.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Ayes have it. Let's see, let me get back to my agenda. Okay, next is the approval of the 2026 holidays for the county offices. And
I believe we this year we had to add a day, right? Didn't we add a day?
I think if I'm not mistaken, the only day that we added was a half a day to Christmas Eve last year. As scheduled right now on the information you have, that follows directly for what the state is doing.
Ready for a motion, Jim?
The only thing I would like to see is for the Thanksgiving to half a day, closing at noon. I'm not a big fan of these half days. To me, they're not a very productive day. Very few people, the offices are bare minimum staffed. Not a whole lot's going to get done in that 4 hours. And I'd like to see that be a whole day instead of half day, but that's just my opinion. Just that one, and it's Thanksgiving, correct, Mr. Tadlock, for what I'm seeing on it?
That's the only half day, and I apologize. The board did do New Year's Eve. The courts closed for the New Year's Eve, and the board did do that one as well.
You making a motion, Jim?
So you're looking at giving employees the full day off the day before Thanksgiving versus giving them. Okay.
Any conflict with what's going on with the county?
Not usually that week.
Anything that comes in?
No.
Ready for the motion? Move that we approve for hold them.
Okay, so your motion is to approve the holiday calendar with the change of a whole day for Thanksgiving. Okay, have a second.
Were you all looking at December 31st as well? Or we wait till see, I guess, what the judicial system does at that time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Sorry, I didn't catch who seconded that. Mr. Williams did. Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is the remote participation policy. Has everybody had time to review that? Tadlock, can you give us a rundown on that policy?
So, no, basically what this allows the board members to do during any type of medical situation and or times that a board member needs to be absent from the meeting but can still participate in a remote fashion, gives the board member an opportunity to still participate as a voting member of the board. The board still has to have a physical quorum present, but it does allow for remote participation under this policy, and it does have to be adopted annually. I don't know if Mr. Gregory would want to add anything else.
The only thing I would add, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, is that this policy is required to be adopted annually, as Mr. Tadlock said, pursuant to the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And this tracks the language in Virginia FOIA and will achieve your compliance if adopted.
All right, so do we have a motion to adopt the remote participation policy?
I move that we approve as it's presented.
I'll second it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right. Up next, we got the approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections?
Do we want to move the closed session toward the end?
We can.
I think it'd be more convenient for the people to come out.
That'll be fine.
One item that I would have is the barn building discussion was placed under the county administrator's comments. If we could move that up under presentations, Chief Keyser is here as well, and don't want to hold him up. So
I was going to ask you about that one. He probably would appreciate that.
Motion.
Yes, sir.
Motion to approve the agenda with the 2 corrections.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right. Now we got the approval of the minutes for December 11th, 2025 regular meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to that?
Move that we approve.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, up next we have presentations. We have Chief of Emergency Services, Chris Bailey, to come on up, please. Discussion on the Rescue Squad Assistance Fund Grant application request.
Good evening, board, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chair, Mr. Harris, welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Just to take a few minutes of your time this evening, requesting your support for the Department of Emergency Services to apply for the 2026 Spring Rescue Squad Assistance Fund Grant through the Virginia Office of EMS. So what is the RSAF, if you're not familiar? It's administered through the Virginia Office of EMS. It's open to EMS agencies across the state, and it's primarily a reimbursement grant. So that does require the grantee to make the purchase initially and then submit the invoices to the RSAF grant board for reimbursement. So in the past, you can see we've been very successful with RSAFs as recent as last fiscal year. Some of them have been at 50-50 fund awards. Some of them have been 100% funding. So traditionally, we've been very successful with the RSAFs. Just a little bit about this grant cycle. So it did open, or excuse me, the Notice of Funding Opportunity, or NOFO, came up on the Office of EMS website on January 1. Applications open on February 1st and close on the 16th of March at 5 p.m. We'll submit the applications through the Office of EMS eGift portal, and awards would be issued July 1, if not after July 1. So the awards would be issued in fiscal year 27. So we're working on two projects through the RSAF. The first is going to be a PPE request, or otherwise known as personal protective equipment. So two parts of this project. The first is a request for 30 sets of technical rescue vehicle extrication rated equipment for the full-time and part-time emergency services staff, and 2 sets of structural firefighting PPE for myself and Assistant Chief Ethan Harding. This project complies with the NFPA standards. It truly enhances my staff's ability to be safe on the fire ground, be safe on vehicle accident scenes, and be even more involved in emergency response than they already are. I'm going to give you a couple different figures for this one because we got a quote in this morning that I think you'll be very pleased with. So we're asking for the endorsement to apply for and future supplemental appropriation of the whatever 50% looks like. Or instead of the $90,000, it's $61,063. So we were able to drop the cost of the total cost of the PPE request by almost $29,000 with the final quote as received this morning. So what that looks like is a $30,531.50 match by the county if it's awarded. Again, we would need to fully fund the purchase initially, and then the state would reimburse us that $30,500. Again, this is for the vehicle extrication gear for the full-time and part-time staff, as well as the structural gear for myself and Ethan. The intent is to fund from the EMS billing account. The current balance of that account as of this morning is just shy of $630,000. So there's no issue with funding there. So to answer the why do we need the PPE? So again, it ensures the safety, the regulatory compliance, and ultimately the operational readiness of both the full and the part-time emergency services staff. The technical rescue vehicle extrication gear, it's NFPA 1951 compliant, National Fire Protection Association, industry best practice, nationwide standards, tailored primarily for motor vehicle accidents. Ultimately, it'll improve their mobility on emergency scenes, whether it's cooperating with the volunteer fire departments or on motor vehicle scenes, protection for them, and just overall improved efficiency. It equips myself and Assistant Chief Harding with firefighting gear, NFPA 1971 compliant structural firefighting gear. That way, we're able to meet the command, supervision, and operational requirements that are also included in our job descriptions. We're able to supplement the volunteer fire departments as needed during the daytime hours, and gives us kind of that overall safety improvement. Ultimately, the gear will need to be replaced at a recommended 10-year life interval, regardless of use, unfortunately. The NFPA recommends replacement at 10 years to remain compliant. But that's something, obviously, at that point in time, we can look at the grant to replace. At the end of the day, the investment in the gear, it truly represents a proactive investment in the safety of our staff, reduces injury, and long-term operational effectiveness in cooperation with our volunteer partners. Any questions about PPE before I move on to the second? Yes, sir.
I've got one. So if you receive this grant, you would be replacing equipment that you currently have?
No, sir, we do not.
New to
This would be new assets purchased.
Okay.
Is this equipment usable with all different people? It's not fit to size or anything.
So the technical rescue gear comes in broad sizes: small, medium, large, extra large. The inseams can be adjusted, to meet the staff. The structural firefighting gear will be, for both Ethan and I, will be fit to size.
Okay.
So the second project in the RSAF grant request is for ventilators. Ultimately, the transport ventilators is what I'll call them, but to give a little bit of a breakdown, they'll provide the manual mechanical ventilation that we would, as well as the rescue squads or the fire department, in the back of the truck, in terms of those high acuity breathing difficulty calls or cardiac arrest. Basically, it frees up an extra set of hands to do something else. So the transport ventilators ultimately improve airway management during transport, with the goal of improving patient outcomes, reducing fatigue of the providers, and ultimately supports our limited staffing model that we currently have. We are asking for endorsement to apply for and future supplemental appropriations for $40,000 for them. They would be placed on Medic 1 and Medic 2 with a $20,000 match if the RSAF is awarded at the 50-50 post reimbursement. This was also built into to our CIP beginning fiscal year 27. We did include a $2,000 buffer just because we are going to be, after the new year. We want to make sure that we included any elevation of price. Again, this too would come out of EMS billing. So ultimately, the ventilators. So if you picture the hospital, the ICU, the patient with the tube in their mouth and a machine's breathing for them. That's exactly what this machine will be doing. Instead of a provider standing there manually doing it, this machine will do it for that provider, allowing that provider to do something else. It provides consistent controlled ventilation. You can set the settings. There's no provider error. There's no provider fatigue. Just straight as the settings are designed to be. Ultimately, it increases and exceeds the safety and effectiveness of manual ventilations. It does maintain precise oxygenation and ventilation parameters. Again, we set those numbers, and that's what it does. There's no variation with that. It reduces staffing demands, where now if you do only have those two people on a call, one can drive. With the Lucases that we got also with an RSAF, now you have the ventilators. Now you're freeing up even more hands to actually give high quality clinical care in the back of an ambulance without having to commit another person. It does support the continuity of care by aligning with pre-hospital ventilation settings. Right now with a manual bag valve mask doing it's very difficult to be able to tell the respiratory techs when we get into the hospital, hey, this is what, we're bagging them. That's about all we can say. With this, we can actually identify different values and so forth that their respiratory therapists, of course, if their physicians approve with what we want, with our plan of treatment, they can set their machines too, and there's no change in continuity of care. Ultimately, it strengthens the system resilience because we're able to decrease the amount of hands, which means that that's more providers available to do something else. Operational efficiency, and ultimately the equipment will be based on a couple factors, including costs, usability, maintenance, and compatibility. This equipment will be on the trucks, so we want to make sure our providers are comfortable with the model that we choose. They're easy to use, they're easy to clean, good warranties, so forth. So just in summary to wrap up, and again, there's a different figure. I have a different figure on this page than you have. in your presentation with that new quote from this morning. But the Department of Emergency Services is requesting endorsement from the Board of Supervisors to apply for and supplemental appropriations at the appropriate time for the 2026 RSAF grant. Again, it opens February 1, closes March 16th at 5 o'clock. It is a reimbursement grant, so we will pay it up front with, hopefully 100% reimbursement, knock on some wood. We have had tremendous success with it in the past. And we're looking at obviously much lower figures because of the drop in quote. We're looking at about $104,000 now versus $130,000 for both projects combined.
Taxpayers like that 100%.
I do too, Mr. Fisher. I do too. I'm happy to answer any questions that the Board of Supervisors.
With your PPE, you got your eye protection, your helmets, and your gloves. Okay.
Yes, sir. That total price is head to toe, helmet, hood. I mean, even with the tech gear, helmet, hood, eye pro, ear pro, pants, boots, gloves, and structural gear. Obviously, the full ensemble, short SCBA.
This is a big ask, but do you know how much is contributed to the EMS billing account annually?
Not annually. I can get you what our last couple of months were. December's numbers, I want to say it was $4,000 or $5,000. $4,000 to $5,000 a month, give or take. With the exception of November, because the federal government was shut down, so Medicare and CMS reimbursement was delayed.
How many do you have in your department?
So currently we have 13 full-time field staff. We're budgeted to have 20, and then myself and Chief Harding with I would say 6 to 8 active part-timers currently on the roster.
Do you do any outreach to the schools?
Yes, sir. We actually had a conversation with Ms. Rector this afternoon, Ms. Ann Rector from the Bay Workforce Consortium, to talk about a program at the Technical Center.
So you solely going after 100% funding?
So we're going to apply for everything that we can get.
Okay, and I guess what I'm getting at is a lot of times they turn down the 100% funded part of the grant, but they may offer you a 80-20 or 50-50.
Yes, sir.
I don't want the board to think that you may get that 100% from this grant, because a lot of times you don't. You really got to prove a hardship to get 100% funding.
Yes, sir.
But this PPE is needed, and I believe the ventilators are part of your protocol now, are going to be a part of your protocol.
We're working with our medical director, Dr. Dodd. She's fully in support of it.
And one good thing about the emergency services is that the billing funds come in and they're set aside specifically to help fund new equipment and to replace equipment. So the money is there to fund this grant.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you put in there between Northumberland and Langsford, you have two of the oldest populations in the Commonwealth. I don't know if you put in that in the grant, because you got people 65 and older, quite a few.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we can absolutely, when time comes, if approval for the grant is granted, we can absolutely look at that data, because that community data is part of the grant process. Yes, sir.
Any other board members have any questions? Mr. Tadlock, you got any?
No, I was just going to, it's probably between $250,000 to $300,000 for annual EMS billing. I would just add that. That was the question that was asked earlier.
250 to 300,000.
Correct.
Chief Bailey, just a little background. You came in right when the government shutdown happened. Before that, we were bringing back about 25 to 30,000 a month from billing. Was about the numbers that we were getting at that point in time. And those numbers have not seemed to have fixed themselves at this time.
You don't have any other questions? What would the board like to do?
I'd make a motion to allow Chief Bailey to move forward with both grant applications.
Got a second? Strong? Okay. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bailey, move forward with your grant.
Thank you very much. And just to clarify, Mr. Williams, it will be one grant application, 2 projects listed on the grant. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay, up next we got Mr. Todd Thomas, Commissioner of Revenue, land use discussion.
Good afternoon, gentlemen, and congratulations on y'all's elections tonight and this past election in November. At this time, I handed, actually Morgan handed them out, to each one of y'all a copy of individual numbers that have to do with our land use program, how many parcels are in the county, how many parcels that we have from 2025 to 2026. And in 2026, it's just estimated. But I will go over those figures now so the public can hear. We have 19,032 parcels of land in Northumberland County. The total parcels in land use are 1,217, which is 6.39% of the total parcels in Northumberland County. We have in agricultural acres 22,666 acres. In forest acres, we have 34,489.4113 acres. Open space acres, we have 180.7050 acres. And in 2025, the total value of all land was $1,247,495,700. And the total value is shown currently that is subject to change based on the assessor, having the hearings and the Board of Equalization is $1.5 billion, $80,868,600. So based on the 25 figures versus the 26 figures, which is pretty much estimated at this point, but very close, is only 26.72% average increase in the land for this from last year to this year. So when we're looking at 1 penny on the tax rate for 25, we were looking at $289,402. And that's because we had an increase in the tax rate last year. It was less than that. So it's costing the county about 4 cents on the tax rate to preserve our natural resources here in the county. And that's what they did in 1987, just that. We've seen every 6 years you have to take it in consideration. And we've seen forest land that's in the land use program change very little, if any at all, okay? And that's really a problem right now because I think we're going to see it even go down further because we have a mill that was at Kinsale that's closed down. And so you don't have the opposition on the bidding process. So you have land in the county that like Louisetta and like Fairport and those type of areas that have land that's low lying and is at risk because ever so often you have flooding. And so all these things are taken in consideration. And back in 1987, they decided to be middle of the road on an average. What was presented to us by State Farm Bureau and the Forestry Division. And those figures of $800 and $500 were set at that time. And today, I just checked today, the forest, the average now is only like 600. Okay. So you're not looking at much money when it comes to that difference. Open land has increased, with risk and without risk. Risk being like we're set up right there in those low lying down Fairport and all those areas. But like the Haney Farm down there, that you can understand that unless you put drain tile or something in it, it's going to flood out once every so many years. So anyway, right now it's 800 and 500. I'm looking at considering the overland maybe going up some, but as far as the forest land, I don't see it going up any at all, pretty much. Not anything would substantiate a lot of revenue, that's for sure. So we're doing 4 cents right now in the tax rate we lose to save our natural resources, and everybody in this room wants to see the area stay the same pretty much as far as our forest land and our farmland and all that. Because most people can't, if you got $170,000 on a waterfront lot, and then you got 5 or 6 of them on a piece of land that's 25 or 30 acres, they can't afford just to farm it. It has to be use value. You have to go with use value. But Westmoreland County and us are the same figures. We have the same figures as Westmoreland. And we continue to have those same figures over the years. But I do think after this reassessment is finalized in March or April, we need to look at those figures. But I do not recommend changing the forest land by any bit at all. Okay? And if y'all have any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
So the rates are set by a SLEAC value?
They just give you a suggested value.
Suggested value.
And what they do is this risk and no risk. I don't know how you would even supply office with the employees. That's why Westmoreland and us, we went with a couple values because, the land, Westmoreland used to do it years ago by soil types and things, try to do it. And it's just so hard because you get 3 or 4 soil types in the same field, you see. So that's the reason behind it.
Any board members have any questions?
Todd, when was the last time that agriculture and forestry acreage was adjusted to reflect the Northumberland County?
It hadn't because they've been so close. The use value has been so close, and you can only do it once every 6 years.
So when was the last time?
You have to do it during the last reassessment.
Yeah.
It was back when it was put in.
When was that?
Back in 1988.
88.
Mm-hmm. And like I say, when that mill shut down, that's caused a real problem with the bidding process of lumber, especially pine. But I think what we need to do is probably look at Lancaster County, see what they have on open land, and maybe Richmond County, and look at those. And then, see, we don't have no figures that'll follow right now. We won't have any figures probably until sometime in March, 1st of March.
I tell you, Planning Commission, 35 years I sat up there, we never dealt with land.
Right.
It never was sent to us to have use. There's a lot here that I don't understand. And I would really like to the board to consider that we could get together with you and some others to get some education on this.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
There's a whole lot that I don't understand and can't make heads or tails of.
Right. Well, it's to preserve and protect natural resources, and then let people, when you got farmland out there that is on the water, you can't help us on that waterfront lot. We in areas where, they have the waterfront, have a lot of waterfront, we're going to take more of a beat on it if we do have land use because of the lot back. If you were in King Queen or on up the road in King William and don't have as much of the waterfront, you don't have the reduction. But when our tax rate goes up, then all that's going to continue to go up as far as the amount.
Would the rest of the board be congenial to having a sit down with Todd and some others, and probably bringing in the Planning Commission too, because this is going to be going before them also in due time?
I think it's a good idea.
Just there's a lot of questions I've got.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. And some of it, you look at it, you got to take, the old saying is you can't have your cake and eat it too. The bottom line is people want to preserve the area they live in. And on the other hand, they want to be able to, the farmers, when I was coming along, there was 100 farmers in Northumberland County. And now you got 8 or 10 or 12 doing it all, and they raise tomatoes and canneries and all that. So you got to look back in the history of all this and why they did this and all. And he serves other counties, so he probably knows what I'm saying. And, it's a lot. I was born and raised on a farm myself. So, I understand all that and the principles of it. And like I say, we had tomato farms and all that in this county and all over the county. Richmond County, same way, Westmoreland, but we don't have it no more.
The state says we have 111. You think that figure is off? 111 farmers in Northumberland County.
No, because I think what it is, you got some people that, are just
hanging on.
Well, I don't think they're hanging. I think that they're raising grapes or something. You know what I'm saying? It's not the type farmer.
They have a few horses or something like that. They're not good.
Oh, yeah. And very few livestock in pasture.
Very, very little pasture.
Yeah, sure.
They only list livestock.
But I think it's a good idea, what you see there.
Okay.
Because I think that you got to see, and everybody in this room needs to know, we want to preserve what's here in this county, but we need business. We need something to defray the cost. Right. Because we need our emergency service. We need our police departments. We need all this. And these counties, these rural counties, if you've seen in the paper, it's 100 and some localities that are being supplemented from about 10 or 12 in the Commonwealth of Virginia. See? And, when you pay all these services and they continue to go up, you got to have revenue to come in to meet those needs.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Fisher, you want to make a motion on your request?
Yes, I make a motion that at the convenience of the board and Mr. Thomas and perhaps Mr. Jim Penny and the Planning Commission, I'd like for us to set a meeting open to the public to discuss and educate myself as well as the rest of us, hopefully, on the ins and outs of land use.
Have a second?
Okay.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion passed.
Mr. Chairman, might possibly be that we can work this in to coincide with upcoming special meetings that we've got coming up also. Work together, perhaps.
Okay. All right, up next we got Virginia Department of Transportation. I believe we got Mr. Todd Bellingham and Mr. Brian Thomas.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right.
Happy New Year to y'all. Good to see y'all. Welcome to the board, Mr. Harris.
Thank you.
Since David couldn't make it tonight, I thought it'd be a good night to bring the new superintendent for Northumberland. This is Brian Thomas. Brian took over at Lotsburg now, and Brian's been with VDOT for 12 years. He comes to us from Westmoreland County. He was a supervisor over there. Brian and his family live here in Northumberland. He's very familiar with the county, and I'm very confident that y'all have the same good working relationship with him as you did with me when I was there. So he's getting his feet wet, and I think he'll do a great job at Lotsburg. So anyway, he'll be your contact if y'all need anything. I think his number's at the bottom of the agenda here that y'all have from us. So if y'all need anything, you can give him a call. Started off when he started this month, he got his feet wet a little bit with snow. He had a couple 2 or 3 little snowstorms and snow events. So he's been busy with snow. They've also been cutting some brush in Mob Neck, done some tree removal down in Southgate, working on some beaver dams in the county. We've got plenty of those around, potholes and drop inlets, and had done some ditching and stuff on 360. Also, we've been going around these sign islands A lot of these island places that has these concrete islands and the stop sign that's in the middle of the road, we have so much trouble with people just running over them or trucks and stuff going in and messing and knocking them over. So we're upgrading some signs on some roads, and they've been taking some of those islands out. So give people more room to turn and this and that. It's got some things coming up. Still be doing some brush cutting down in the Burgess area, moving toward Callio on secondary roads. Like I say, stop sign removal, islands, pothole patching, cleaning pipes, and addressing work orders. You all got anything other than that for us?
You got Keith?
No.
Yes, Todd. You're still cleaning ditches, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'd like for you to check clean the ditches on Light Street, all right? Also, been bringing up each meeting about we need to do something down with the traffic coming out of the school, right? Some kind of lane or something like that. I would like to see a light down there. You know, we had a deputy get hit, you know, watching traffic, directing traffic. So we need to do something in that areas. You have a lot of traffic coming out there. Yeah, more students driving nowadays. And with the buses too, that's a whole lot of traffic. So like to see what you can come up.
Okay. I think Mr. Beal's been working on that with traffic engineering, and we'll see what we can look at that.
Okay, good. That's all I have.
Mr. Williams, got any questions?
Just would like for you guys to address some potholes that are on Harbor Road. Excuse me. They're actually down close to the restaurant. It's about where the state maintenance ends.
Yeah.
You can't miss them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Mr. Fisher, you got any?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Lawson.
I don't want to.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all have anything?
Okay, up next, we got an update from the Northumberland County Schools. We have Dr. Leslie and Dave Kern.
Good evening. How's everybody? Happy New Year.
Good evening.
I have just a few brief updates from the school, and then of course we have the county finance director to give you guys some background on the school's finance. You can just hit my second slide. I'm going to be very, very brief. We have only been back in session this week. Our kiddos started on Tuesday. So we've had a really great first week. In getting prepared for this evening, I was trying to think about what was kind of going on in the schools and what we could spotlight. And so what I did was I gave the principals a call and just said, hey, what's going on this week and next week that we could go ahead and plug at the Board of Supervisors? And I'll tell you, each of the principals that I called, they just rattled off so many good things that were going on in the school. So I've posted just a couple of them here, but I'm going to plug that further in my next slide. So if you guys are around tomorrow, we've got a student award ceremony at the elementary school. There's also Indian in the Year at the high school. There's a Math Academy night coming up on the 22nd at NES, which is a really great idea for those of us who haven't had math in a really long time. This is actually targeted at parents to help parents out for grade 4, specifically math, so that they are a resource with their kids as well. And then NMS has something coming up next week. So just wanted to take a moment to look at all the great things that we're doing in school. One other highlight here is in your top right-hand corner, Ms. Ashton, our assistant superintendent, worked with some of the staff at Northumberland Elementary School and was able to get this comprehensive literacy state development grant. This grant does not have a local match, and we will be getting $32,400 to work towards our literacy goals at that school. So very exciting, and we really appreciate the hard work. Next slide. I know. Thank you. Thanking Ms. Ashton. And as promised, this is our plug. It's a new year. It's a new us. I just really want to invite the community, the parents, everybody. Please join us on Facebook, download our app, take a look at what's going on in the schools. I promise you a day or two won't go by where you won't see something that's going on that has our kids and our community involved. And we really want to get the focus on our kids and what's happening there. So that's really what I had today, but I'm available for questions. Of course, I do have the county finance folks here as well.
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, have you organized a PTA?
I can't hear you, Mr. Long. I apologize.
Organized a PTA planning.
So PTAs are typically done through the school building, so I can get you information on the PTAs. They are typically done with the principal and the parents at each school level. A PTA isn't usually overarching for all of the schools in the division.
Yeah.
So the short answer is no, I have not organized one.
That's very important. That's
Sure.
very important. That's how you get the parents involved.
They do have a lot of activity in the elementary school, and they've had a lot of community involvement there, but I would have to get you the specific details on PTA or PTSA at the other levels.
Yeah. Do you have all the teachers in place? Are all the teachers in place?
No, sir. At this point, I do not have the HR report in front of me. I do have a couple of vacancies at the high school, and which we are trying to fill, and I have a couple of vacancies at the elementary school, still carried over from the beginning of the year that we have been unable to fill. And unable to fill just because we have not had the qualified candidates to fill those positions. They are funded and they have been posted, but we have not been able to find the qualified candidates. We have done a number of things, including reaching out to universities, things of that nature, to try to get candidates, and it's very difficult to do that. But we do have some vacancies in the schools.
Okay, so how are these kids being taught that?
I can't hear you.
How are the kids being educated? You don't have to be.
So we do have curriculum that is being presented to the student by a licensed teacher. In the one case where we have a new science vacancy, we have been able to use a program that we call, which is Edgenuity. So Edgenuity is a licensed teacher. It's used in most schools across the state of Virginia. So it is SOL aligned curriculum that is given to the student. The student does still sit in a classroom and they do still have supervision. So for each of those cases, if you wanted a breakdown, we could provide you with a breakdown of exactly how we were given the curriculum, but we are ensuring that the curriculum is being taught to the students.
Good. How about the enrollment? How about the enrollment in these schools? Is it up? What do you think it should be, or what?
I guess I'm not really clear on the question. So enrollment ebbs and flows. So enrollment almost will always increase at the beginning of the year. It swells up over the summer, and it typically falls a little bit lower after that as families move in and out of the area. We'll say we do tend to have a flux of students that come and go, but we don't have any major impacts up and down as of right now. In a general trend over the last 5 years, we are trending slowly down with slightly lower numbers, but it's not been a catastrophic impact.
Okay, most students ride the school bus, or do you have cars and picking some kids up? Remember last year I had a problem with some parents where they didn't have enough drivers for cars.
So do you mean, do you mean car rides that are provided by the school division?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we do have a mix of those. We do have a mix of vans, cars, and also school buses. Oftentimes, students that are provided special transportation through a van or a car is due to a student's individualized educational program that gives a caveat within there for them to have that special transportation. So as far as how many students, that would be a number that I would have to get you on how many students are in each of those. I don't have that data off the top of my head. Now, any student that lives in the county can ride the bus, but whether or not they choose to ride the bus on a given day, it's a tough call. I know I have kids. It'd be great if we get them out on time, but some of us are car riders at the last moment. So, but I certainly could give you, the numbers data. That's something we would be able to pull together. I'd have to get it from our director of transportation.
Last question.
Mm-hmm.
STEM program. Are you having many kids that get in that program, the STEM program?
We do not have the enrollment that we would really like in some of those programs. We have a lot of programs that also feed into STEM, so including the TAG program that we have at the lower levels. That is an area we would like to see growth in. We do have some dedicated folks that are working in that area. So the short answer is not as many as we would like to see.
We send information home to the parents and let them know about that program.
I presume that has been sent, but I can double check on it for you. I don't have that in front of me, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, you have a lot of kids in the school division that's raised by grandparents.
Sure.
You need to get as much of that information as they can, so they can let the kids know.
Sure.
Got anything, Mr. Williams? Mr. Fisher, you have anything? I would like to see, Dr. Karen, since you're here, and Dr. Leslie, would like to see a joint meeting between the two boards as soon as possible.
Okay.
If it's something we could do next week,
okay,
that's good. See what the board's got on that calendar and schedule, but I think we need to kick a new year off right, and we need to meet and let's have some discussions and move forward and make some good things happen this year.
I can send that out tomorrow morning. And I can communicate with Mr. Tadlock if that's okay, with some ideas on dates and times, or was there a date and time that I should propose?
We provide a tentative date, Dr. Leslie, now maybe?
Yes, you can.
Let's shoot out a date.
Thursday, okay.
You'd have to do it early, because I think the planning commission meets at 7.
At 7 o'clock.
They do meet at 7 o'clock, and they have scheduled public hearings that night, so they wouldn't be able to modify their schedule.
We typically have meetings that start at 4:30, so that might be a good time for us.
We do 4:30 Thursday.
What day is that show?
Thursday of next week. It'll be the 15th.
What time are we talking about?
4:30.
4:30?
That work for everybody? Okay.
So Thursday, the 15th at 4:30 is a request?
Yes.
Okay. I'll send that out in the morning, and as soon as I have some information, I'll share it with Mr. Tadlock.
You got anything else, ma'am?
I personally do not.
Dr. Karen, you got anything?
All I want to say is that you make a very valid point. We need to move forward together. It's not typical that a school board member comes up here and stands with its superintendent. We're going to move forward together, and I want to show support for anybody that comes in front of this board, and I will be standing with them. I will probably not be commenting, but I'm going to show my support. And I think that's real important message that we need to send to everybody. So I agree with you, Mr. Friend, that we need to do this, and we need to move forward, not only as a school board and as a school division, but as a county as a whole.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Want to go first? Sure. Go ahead. Talk really fast. That way we save some time. Okay. Did everyone get that? So we did send some information. There's a lot of progress that's being made. The payment backlog is under 200K. It's actually probably a little bit less today. This report was prepared a little bit ago. We're posting more and more revenue. So as of this report, there was 913,000 that was posted today. We posted another 919. So that means we're starting to catch up with the revenue that's coming in. Now, the revenue that we're posting right now is from a balance we reconciled with the county treasurer's office as of November 30th. So there's more revenue in December that's coming in that bucket of money that has been reconciled with the county treasurer's office. There's going to be some more that's going to be returned to the county. Right now, we're working with Mr. Tadlock to get the right codes because I actually don't know. No one can tell me. We haven't returned revenue in a while. So there's a form that has to be filled out, but there has to be a code to which it goes. And we're trying to figure that out right now. So as soon as we get that, hopefully by next week, we'll have some more information to give you about the revenue that can be returned to the county coffers because it is reimbursements that came in for prior expenses. So we're working on that. We're continuing again to address that. The state report I'll leave to Ann. As we're making more and more progress in getting up to speed on the invoices, on the revenue, there are new opportunities to excel every day. So what we're finding as we start looking at the accounts, we have accounts that are still being spent that have no deposits made into them. We have some what I'll call anomalies and how some things are being charged. So there's a lot of cleanup that needs to go in these accounts. Right now, the primary focus is on making sure that we get the budget ready. So we have done an incredible amount of data analysis with respect to the budget. We'll have more to share if we have a joint meeting next week on that. And as we do that analysis, we're finding more and more kind of just oddities. Some of them are attributed to the way things are put in the system, and some I cannot explain how they're attributed other than they've just always been done that way. So the great news is we're now starting to find these things. We wouldn't have been able to do that 2 months ago. And again, the good news is we have set, unfortunately for Ann, we've set an expectation of turnaround that moves really fast. And so we're starting to put some policies or some processes in place. Dr. Leslie sent out some information today so that we can start getting in a cadence of things instead of doing everything on demand, because that creates opportunities for errors. And we also need some more detailed analysis sometimes in some places. So as I said, the public hearing for the budget is going to be January 21st, 2026. I have one announcement in a paper. I'm trying to get a hold of another newspaper to make sure that I can get the announcement placed in time. The state code requires that we actually present the budget at the time of that public hearing, at least my read of the state code. And since I'm the one that's helping with the budget, we're going with my read of the state code, which to me seems pretty clear. So we're going to be presenting options in accordance with the county's guidance. And because the superintendent also has statutory responsibility for the budget, there's an option that's going to go to the school board that's going to be consistent with some educational recommendations. So there's going to be at least 8 options that get presented. And all are going to have detailed analysis and documentation. We did great surveys. We had a lot of community response and a lot of educator response on the surveys that were submitted. Those will also be made public, all the information on that. I will admit that there are some people that don't appear to care for the work that I'm doing. So that's all going to be public too, so the county everyone can see it. I'm not ashamed of it. Let's see. We do still have a risk. You'll see in the risk here that some of the cleanup that we're doing in these assignments, we're still in a spending slowdown. Because of these anomalies that we're finding and because of the cleanup in these accounts, we have accounts that we're finding are overspent. We have accounts that we're finding have only a certain amount of money for the rest of the year and some that are done for the rest of the year. So as we get more revenue into the system, we also have to make sure that revenue isn't already accounted for somewhere. We can't just apply it to an account that's over if that revenue was planned for something else. So there is a lot more detailed work that needs to go into all that. Again, it's all good. We met with all the school leadership on the budget. So Dr. Leslie, Dr. Curran, and I met with each principal, each division director. We talked with them about their budget. We talked about the process we're using. We're using the time between now and February 2nd to develop the budget. And from February 2nd to July 1st, we're going to be developing the processes to manage to that budget. And that's going to include some new strictures around how things are done and at which level they're done and the information that you have to use and the information you have to submit. So all that is great. And I also provided you the expense report and the revenue reports. Those are in there. So I'll pause there to see if there's any questions before Dr. Kern adds her information.
Yes, you didn't mention the time. What time on the 21st?
6 p.m. It's going to be in the school auditorium, and we're going to, once the announcement, there's one announcement, like I said, that's going to appear, should appear next week. The other one should hopefully appear next week. We're going to post it, the announcement on the school site. We're going to ask Luttrell if we can get it, Mr. Tadlock, if we can get it posted to the county site. And included in the advertisement is a link that's going to send everybody to the school site so they can see the full budget proposal once it's ready. We're going to also try to do a truncated version because it is extremely data intense, and I think it's going to be difficult for people to read.
I've been listening to Kilmarnock radio station.
Have I been listening to it? Yes.
Yeah, they said that school board, the school is in good shape now. That's what I heard on radio.
Thank you.
Did you make that announcement?
I did. I actually paid them. That's why we don't have money for the ad. What do you think I've been doing over there with the money? I hadn't actually heard that yet, so thank you.
Yeah, I heard it. What?
Dr. Fisher, I see a rather large disbursement for Virginia Power.
Yes.
You and I have talked about that before. Is that a catch up on bills that hadn't been paid in the?
Yes, sir. That's exactly what that, we're not caught up yet.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Does Dominion Power ever do audits of our electrical services to say that you can save in tremendous electric bills?
Which one? We have.
I mean, on the whole county. The whole county ought to be audited. Where we can save money on these electric bills. I'm sure they can provide information for us.
We have a contact that our lead is working with, who is actually, I think, a parent at the school that's going to try to help us with some of that. We actually found that there were some accounts that shouldn't have been being charged to the county. This predates me, but there was like a lamp post. There's some odd stuff that was happening. So we've got a person who's going to be leading this moving forward. That's going to be consolidating all the management of the electric bills and then working to try to understand how we can consolidate those further. And I know we do want to talk about the school board building at some point too. And then the county, again, from a county perspective, we want to make sure that there's a way to economize across all the board. I mean, honestly, frankly, it's ridiculous what you have to do to pay a bill. So I'd love to get to the point where they could audit us to see if we can save money. You can start by not having us write a separate statement for each bill. Right. So we've started paying one check that's got lots of entries, but you have to submit every single time. And if you don't submit the form, you don't tear off that little form. Like I can pay my bill electronically at home and I don't have to tear off that little form and send it in. If you do that at the school, they kick back your payment. Sorry, that's irritation for me.
Dr. You say that you guys are still in a spending slowdown. What qualifies what you're doing as being in a slowdown? What are you doing that makes it? What are you doing that says, hey, we're in a slowdown? It's not a spending freeze.
It's the analysis that has to be done every single time a purchase order. So when a purchase order gets in, we still have to go through not just the system. Mr. Williams, I would love to get to the point where you could have the accounts payable person just go into the system, find if there's a balance and pay the bill. The slowdown occurs because we are in the process of analyzing what's being bought, analyzing the system to see if there's resources available, analyzing the checkbook that I have to keep to see if the system is correct, and then confirming that that is a priority for the principal of that school. Because we're in a position where sometimes we're getting requests directly that aren't going through the principal. And if there's a limited pot of money available to that principal, we should be prioritizing those requests based on what the educational outcomes are. So to me, those would be normal activities that would happen. They shouldn't be related to a slowdown.
That was my next question. I was wondering how what we're going to do going forward would be different than what you're doing now when you come out of the slowdown.
What'll happen is you'll have the prioritized list from the principal already. They will have done planning moving forward. So for each quarter, you'll know. What you don't want to do is get to the fourth quarter of the year and find out that you have a statutory or regulatory requirement you haven't met, but you've spent all your money. So we've got one account right now that has no money left for the rest of the year. And I don't know if there's anything in there that needs to be purchased under statutory requirements. We have found, if you do a retrospective, this is public information, you'll find that there were attorney bills paid out of the special education fund in the past. But yet we consistently get banged for not having enough special education at the school. That's a priority issue. Somebody wasn't paying attention. So moving forward, that process will happen, but it will not take the time that it's taking because it won't require me or any person to sit there and look at it. You'll have a prioritized list. You'll know this on the list. You'll see that the funds are available and you'll move forward. So that's what I mean by slowdown right now, because it appears to be, the perception is it's still a slowdown because in the past, nothing was rejected. And if an account was overdrawn, the bill was just paid out of a different account, even if it wasn't the right one, out of a different school even sometimes. So it's normal operations for us, but I call it a slowdown because there's still the perception that we're dragging our feet.
Thank you.
And we're not really dragging our feet, but we're being very cautious about this is not our money, right? We're being very careful, and we want to make sure that what's being bought is going to address student learning and student outcomes. And I think that's one of the most important things that we've really hit home with. And Dr. Leslie has really reiterated that with her staff. That's the focus of what we're buying things for, is we've got to improve student learning. And we want to see those outcomes coming in our SOL scores, and in daily assignments with students. So we're a partner with the schools. We want to make it better. And so we take things slow and we're very cautious. So Dr. Pika was all the positives. I get to bring the negatives up. It's still a little bit of a quagmire in the building. Every day we have something new that we find that is unusual, and we have to figure out a way to figure it out and fix it. So today was a VRS and retirement system reconciliation. We had noticed some anomalies in the RDA books and the retirement books and on the VRS system. So we set up a call with VRS and said, what's going on? And they collect retirement monies based on the contract term. So if staff is a teacher being paid a 10-month contract or an 11-month contract, they get their retirement collected at that amount, right? So the RDA system does the payroll collection for retirement over 12 months. It was a change that was made several years ago. And so now, meeting with VRS, we're trying to figure out, are we really out of line? We're not. At the end of the year, we're all solid because VRS is collecting that same amount of money, but in 10 months on a teacher contract, let's say, but we've collecting it on 12 months in the books. We are going to make a change, but we can't make that change until the new school year. So those are the things. It's just an example of the systems that we're having to work with. And there's many systems. And if you talk to Ms. Dodson, she knows. She works on these every day. It's a lot of puzzle pieces that you have to put together. So every day is a new addressing the puzzle, and we're getting through it. And I'm just really proud of the people that you've hired to be on our team. Rachel and Demetris are brilliant. They just jump in and get things done. And then Dr. Pika has brought a new dimension in terms of her thoroughness. So that's a positive. She's also found people from the community are reaching out because Dr. Pika is speaking out at meetings, and they're reaching out to us and saying, hey, I can give you some help with that. I did contracts for the government. Why don't I come in and sit with you and let's go through your contract and see how we can figure out to do this better. This is the power of community. And so I'm really excited about getting that person in as well to start looking at the contracts. We also had somebody coming from transportation to talk about the routing and the software systems. And maybe you want to look at a way of using a different transportation type so that you, instead of you owning the buses and repairing the buses, that they become a leased version. So they're giving us some options on that. We're looking at a lot of different things to make things better for our community. But we're taking our time, and we're going to always bring things up to the school board and to the Board of Supervisors so you can analyze and improve.
We'll say one thing, because it's kind of misleading. It's not going to affect anybody's employment here if we go through an outside contract.
Oh, no.
Because they would hire our people as part of the contract, so nobody's job would be threatened.
Yeah.
That's just an example, but we're looking at the problem holistically, just so you guys know, and we're taking our employees and our county employees' jobs very seriously, and that's not the intent of anything we're trying to do. So anything that we're looking at holistically, whole issue, and if we can save money, that's the way we need to go.
And it benefits the community. So I think that's probably all I have to say. So any questions for me?
Is Miss Obear still working with you?
Yeah, she's one more month. We're going to keep her to the end of W-2s.
I'm sure she's been an asset to you.
She is an absolute asset,
Yeah.
and I will miss her.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
And help me with this because I'm a little behind. But when principals request money or money is requested, can they see the actual numbers in front of them? Can they pull up budgets and look and say, okay, I spent X amount and this, or the requests go to you and then you have to return this request? Because I think it would be easier if they had some way to link in and see what's in those accounts.
Absolutely.
To make the better decisions.
They can.
Okay.
The answer to your question is they can.
Okay. Good answer.
It's not that easy, but they can.
Okay.
And that's why we're hoping to look for a new system. Right. More to come.
I'm glad to hear that it should be something that's being done. So appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good point.
I guess one thing on the discussion on that system that's going to be part of our joint meeting is that we have to make sure we have the key players involved when it comes to any type of software changes or updates or what have you. But we need to make sure we have everybody involved that's working with the system. I got one request for the joint meeting next week. I would like to have a copy of the surveys for the joint meeting, and I'd also I know a report come to us a few months ago saying that the 2025 invoices should be paid up by January, but I just want to know where we're at with that, because it is about time to put that to rest, and let's move forward with other issues. All right, we're going to move on then. Next update we're going to have our presentation is going to be Chief Philip Keyser regarding the Rappahannock Regional Fire Training Center.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? Sounds like pretty good so far. Congratulations on the new members and the new chair and vice chair and all that kind of good stuff. Please shut me up at any time that you feel that you need to. I'll give you a brief synopsis of what's going on with the burn building. Burn building is located over on Brown School Road. It's been there for 20 years. Mr. Brand is very familiar with it. He was one of the ones who was instrumental in helping us get started with that. It is a vacant structure, and we host live burns inside the building. Every 5 years, the National Fire Protection Association says that you must do structural surveys and studies on the building. We have had 4 structural studies done so far. The state pays for these studies, and the structures group comes in, engineering group comes in, they give you recommendations that need to be replaced and done with the building. In this year's 5-year plan, we had to take it to an engineer. I took it to the same engineer we've used for the last 4 times, and the fellow that had been doing it is no longer there. So they gave me a report, but it was nowhere near what it needed to be. One of the things that we needed to replace is the temperature monitoring system. That is sensors throughout the building which monitor when you're burning to let you know what the temperature is. And you can't get the building but so hot so often for so many days is what the rules and regulations say. The firm that gave me the price to fix it said it would be $3,000. I called and got the name of the SRG Engineering, who takes care of burn buildings all across Virginia and all up and down the East Coast. That $3,000 that was quoted by the firm that we had to do our report turned out to be $38,000. There were some other things in there, and what we had gotten was not what we needed. So the guy from SRG went through and took the report done by Structures Group, went down the list and got everything in there that needed to be repaired. Now, some of this stuff is minor, such as painting, but there are some bigger items in there. The good news is that there's grant money that is available. We have until January the 28th to get to VDFP, the Virginia Department of Fire Programs, what we plan to do with this building. If we do not have that to them by then the building will be shut down and we will not be able to use it for fire training. Now, the Fire Training Center is composed of fire departments in Northumberland County, Lancaster County, Richmond County, one in Westmoreland would be Copel, and Essex has joined. So this is all of the fire departments around that use the building. We take care of most of the maintenance, the grass cutting and all of that stuff that's done. When we apply for this grant through the Virginia Department of Fire Programs, it cannot go to the Rappahannock Regional Fire Training Center. It has to go, the money has to be through a municipality. That's why I'm here today. The grant is a matching, it's not a matching grant now. It is a reimbursement. The amount of money is $102,000 and some odd dollars. When you get over $100,000, it has to go before the board at Virginia Department of Fire Programs. They meet quarterly. When this is submitted to fire programs, then they will set up a meeting at the board and then the board will hear. I have been told, I went to fire programs and sat down and met with the grant specialist with this and talked face to face with her. She seems to believe that we will be able to get the money necessary to do that going through this grant process. It's a fairly simple process from what I understand. The work that was done by SRG is good enough for us to submit to fire programs to get that done. Questions?
So how many persons do they have in the department?
How many do I have? We have 42 members in Fairfields.
Okay. Do you have training for new members? Or?
Absolutely. We have what's called our Yellow Hat program, which is our probationary member program. It's a book that we've developed that every new member, when they get into the department, we give them this book. It is a task-based book, and it is loosely based on the Firefighter 1 from NFPA. It's more catered to the way that we operate. Every fire department, while they operate, every fire department should be putting water on the fire. That's the easiest way to break it down. There's some other things that are involved in actually getting it there and doing everything else. But we have our own Yellow Hat program, and it's a probationary program, and it goes through a training manual.
How many times a year do you open it up?
Do I open it up? We're open 365 days a year. So our application to join the fire department is online at our website at fairfieldsfire.com.
Okay. Do you go to schools and talk to the kids or what?
We have participated in events at the school. Yes, we have. They invite us. We don't just go in there. That's bad news, and we'd have to just bust in there. But
mostly on the high school level.
No, it's been the elementary school too. They've been having career days there, and we've been taking trucks up there. And last year they started a different, or actually we got to go in the classroom last year and talk to the students there and show them, kind of what we did. But then we also take the trucks up there too.
Right. That's all I have.
How often is this facility used?
How often is it used? It is a little underutilized. The last time I was here talking to the board, the state does not help us out at all. Okay. There are classes that are available. There's a Firefighter 1 class, which is 150 some hours, which is your basic training. The only way that we've been able to get a Firefighter 1 class here is through paying for it. There was a grant gotten through COPL a couple of years ago that actually was opened up and allowed some of our members to go. 154 hours is a lot of time to ask of anybody to do anything. Tremendous. On top of that, if you had to travel outside of the area in order to get that training, then that kicks that 154 hours up a whole lot more. That's why the burn building is very important, because with the burn building, then we can host state level certification and training with that building.
What can we do to help you?
Well,
I mean, as in, can education and school systems, something we need to be gearing these kids to an education, are there classes we can help you with that we can start?
Yes, there is. I was up here a month or so ago talking about our need for help with recruitment, retention, and training. We have had some good luck with high school students. The key is to get one or two of the students in the high school to believe that firefighting is cool. And if you do that, then the peer pressure kicks in. We both Callio and Fairfields, about 15 years ago or so, it got cool to a couple of people, and we ended up getting about 10 or 15 per department, and ran an actual academy type deal with Firefighting 1, it worked out really well. Of those members, we have retained several, but we have had quite a few that were in that class that went on and made it a career, and it's now their job. So college is not for everybody. So there are other ways, and the fire service is a good out there, a good place to be.
Thank you.
So I know you you go online when you have the course. Do you get it in the paper when classes are offered? Is there a way
the problem is we have not had classes offered. We have to do our training in station with just our department. It's not state certified. We do have some state certified instructors, but the state are the ones who bring the instructors in. And if we had some more instructors, which is probably what we need to shoot for, is to build up our instructors. But we have not hosted, I take that back. We did host a basic pump operator course, but that was tied into the grant that was gotten at COPL that actually paid for it. So the state, when I was coming along, would provide you with classes free of charge. You had to have a certain amount of members in order to keep that class going. Now we haven't had a state paid for class here in 8-10 years.
Probably longer than that.
Any classes that we've gotten here have been paid for through a grant or by the department that actually hosted it.
I think as a county, we need to do all we can to help, because we have a growing county. We have people moving in. We have over 13,000 citizens. So people are moving in. So we need to do everything we can to make sure we tops. So anything we can do as a board.
Absolutely, I would. I will keep that in mind. We are always in need of help. We appreciate what the board does for us, but there's always more that we need to do and that we need help with. So.
So let's back up a minute. What do we need to do for this grant to help you get it to fire programs on time?
You need to agree to partner with us, or to, what was the word, Mr. Tadlock, that we need to do. In other words, you need to give me approval to go ahead to fire programs and submit this. If fire programs agrees and gives us the money, then it is, like I said, it's a reimbursement grant. So at 100%, there's no match to it at all.
So I guess just to confirm, the total amount that you would be requesting of the grant would be $102,077.25.
Whatever's in the SRG. Okay. Yes, sir, absolutely.
So there are two resolutions in the board packet. The first one is a resolution to support the application being pushed through to fire programs. The second resolution in there is several of the things that SRG is proposing, like the sensors and the liner, are sole proprietary. And so one of the things, due to the cost for procurement, one of the things we're looking at is to do the sole procurement aspect of it. So that's the second resolution that you have in your packet tonight.
Okay, so we can take action tonight after we read the resolutions and make a motion to approve them then. Okay. All right. You and I met with Chief Bailey a few days ago in regards to fire departments and training and all of that.
Yes, sir.
I think we let's get together with him one more time and come back to the board in regards to what we need to help get the fire departments up and running again. I think it's very important that the board does hear some of the struggles that we are having. We do have firefighters, but a lot of us in their 60s, and the younger ones, the younger ones, the few younger ones you have are very good, but it's hard to get people.
Yeah, it is a young man's game, absolutely. But there's of us that are still a little bit gray in the hair, still have some stuff that we can help. We
can still do it if we have to. But that's what I would like to see. So you reach out to Chief Bailey, and I'll roll in there when y'all set a date and time.
Very good. Very good.
All right. Any questions for Chief Keezer?
No.
All right, Luttrell, so I guess the next step is to read the resolutions.
All right, so the first one we'll do is the sole source, whereas upon determination that there is only one source practical available for that, which is to be procured, a contract may be negotiated and awarded to that source without competitive seal bidding or competitive negotiation as allowed by the Code of Virginia under 2.2-4303E. And the Rappahannock Regional Fire Training Center Incorporated maintains and operates the regional burn building located at 2298 Brown Store Road, located in Northumberland County. And the burn building must satisfy the 5-year structural review implemented by the Virginia Department of Fire Programs in compliance with the currently adopted 2018 edition of the NFPA 1403 standard. And the Structures Group, a TSG, conducted such review in a report dated November 25th, 2024, identifying items of structural integrity, training safety, life safety, preventative maintenance, and SRG Incorporated has extensive knowledge of burn centers similar to that of the Rappahannock Regional Fire Training Center and has been identified in other localities as the only local company to demonstrate the competency to work in such specialized burn building equipment and repairs such as temperature sensors and liners. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Northumberland County, Virginia authorizes the county administrator to enter into a contract with SRG Incorporated for the purposes of correcting those issues identified in the report related to structural integrity, training safety, life safety, preventative maintenance.
Okay, you have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, it passes.
All right, the next resolution is resolution to authorize and support the filing of a regional burn building grant application to the Virginia Fire Programs Board. Whereas the Northern Neck counties rely on the services of local volunteer fire companies for essential fire suppression and protection services, and it is necessary that these fire company volunteers receive the necessary training to provide these essential services. And there are not adequate training facilities and opportunities within close proximity to the Northern Neck region. And the Rappahannock Regional Fire Training Center Incorporated operates and maintains a burn building facility in Wacomico Church, Northumberland County. And it would be in the best interest of the Northern Neck counties, its volunteer company organizations, the county citizens, and the Commonwealth of Virginia to see this burn building facility continuously updated and maintained. Therefore, be it resolved that the Northumberland County Board of Supervisors authorize and support the filing of a regional burn building grant application to the Virginia Fire Programs Board to complete the required maintenance as identified in the November 25th, 2024 report.
Okay, can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes.
Thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda is the county administrator item.
All right, the first item I have is for the December 2025 month. We had 6 new structures. Total construction cost for the month was $4.4 million. Total construction cost year to date is $64.6 million, which is approximately $1 million below this time last year. Next item we have is a request from the treasurer on the postage, budget code 10-1213-5201 in the amount of $10,000.
So this appears to be additional funds?
They would be additional funds, yes, sir.
Anybody have any questions for the treasurer?
Well, I have one question for us before we get to the treasurer. Why is the county responsible postage on delinquent bills? Why shouldn't that be incurred upon the one who's delinquent with the bill? It's $4,300.
Are you saying added into the finance charges?
Somewhere, so they would pay instead of us.
Is it a late payment charge? If there's a late payment charge, why not add it right into that? Late payment fee and interest.
Yeah. And the treasurer could probably specify as far as what those rates are and things as well.
So they get penalty and interest added 10% the next day, and then interest adds 10% for the year. But we have to send out delinquent notices to them in order to collect our debt set off from the state. So we have to send them a notice saying you're delinquent and you got this much time to pay before we take collection action. So we have to send them the original notice and a delinquent notice. Man, you could charge it to them, but it would be a nightmare for us because we'd have to say, if there's 6,000 bills, we have to put a charge on 6,000 accounts, and we probably have to do that by hand. And if they're delinquent, then they're not paying the bill anyway, so it'd be extra work for.
So what if you just up the delinquent charge amount to cover it?
Well, 10% is a hefty fine for one day. I can tell you that much right now. That's a hefty fine. You miss it.
Like you said, that's I don't agree with that because the majority of the people can't pay the one that can't pay what they have. And most of our people are 65 and older. Then most of them on Social Security, and that's very low. So, no, we have to do everything we can to help.
Postage costs a lot, and we mail out a lot of stuff.
Right. I think you're doing a good job.
Just a quick question for you. Why would you have to enter that by hand? I mean, is that just because of software you're using, I guess is my question right now.
I mean, we may be able to get with Dave and get him to enter it on all delinquent bills. But
Just not on that issue. I'm just wondering why it's all hand entered and not computerized.
well, I mean, most things are computerized, but this would be something new. So, I mean, we haven't talked to him to say, could you add, I mean,
I'm with you. Thank you. Could you
at this point, we would just have to, without talking to him, we probably have to go into each account, delinquent account, and add a postage fee to it.
You say it was $10,000?
Yes, sir.
We're asking for 10, yes.
What is it normally? Do you normally ask for this?
We've never asked for a supplemental appropriation for postage.
Do you anticipate the same thing next year?
If I don't ask for more in the budget next year, probably so.
So the taxpayers are paying extra money for delinquents?
What was the cause of it being off what looks like 25% from last year?
I guess we just didn't estimate enough. With the cost of postage going up so much, and then it's hard to estimate postage because you never know how many bills you're going to have, how many delinquent bills you're going to have, how many dog notices you're going to have, sewer payments. And then plus we do passports, H&B, that's all included. And then we have to put the money from the treasurer's office into the postage machine. And then for a month, we cover the whole county's postage. And then once the month's over, then we debit other departments' postage, but we have to cover it. We have to upfront it to get it into the machine so that everyone can use it. And then at the end of the month, we debit their accounts to bring our postage back up and then theirs down.
Yeah. Any more questions?
This would come from the general fund, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
All right. What would the board like to do? Have a motion to approve?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Pass.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, consistent with the board action taken at the December 2024 meeting, an increase was provided to the building official once the certification was obtained. So we have a supplemental appropriation related to the salaries and all benefits to the building budget 10-3401, and then each respective line item. Total amount is $7,339.24.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes.
All right, the next item for emergency services, the board is aware that the Department of Emergency Services was looking at implementing a fit for duty policy that has been implemented effective January 1st. They do need some additional funds, supplemental appropriation for the Fit for Duty physicals to 3203-5803 in the amount of $12,000.
Could that come out of the EMS billing funds?
If that's where the board would like for that to come from. I think it's.
How many individuals is this encompassing?
Chief.
Yeah, so that it's budgeted to cover all full-time positions as well as currently slated for all part-time positions. We're hoping that number actually comes down to be able to return some of those funds to the county, because our part-timers that work in other municipalities also have Fit for Duty physicals on there that we're accepting on behalf of that jurisdiction. So yes, we're requesting the $12,000 supplemental appropriation. However, we're also hoping to be able to return some of those funds due to, being able to cut some costs as well.
So yeah, well, how many full-time?
So right now there's 13 currently employed with a budgeted number of 30.
How about
and then myself and the assistant chief.
How about part-time?
Currently on a roster, without looking at the numbers in front of me, 12 to 14, with probably 6 to 8 being active.
So if you're not active, are you still doing this?
So we have revised also our part-time policy. So we've given all employees until March 31st to be compliant with the Fit for Duty physical. If at such point you're not compliant, then we need to have a different conversation.
What are your thoughts of this being paid for out of the EMS billing account?
The balance supports it. It would need to be something that is written into, the operating budget in years future.
I know, kind of piggybacking off of that, some of the CIP projects or future CIP projects have been allocated or earmarked for certain projects. Just keep in mind too, one of the other things that we'll be looking at is the overtime and part-time monies that we will probably have to go back to the EMS billing fund to help offset some of those costs. And that there might be some pretty significant funds that are going to be needed there.
It is. There's there's expected to be a pretty decent hit in the overtime with our current vacancies. That's the reasoning behind the request coming from the general fund as a supplemental appropriation.
Further questions? Okay. We have a motion.
Move to approve out of what funds? How do you want it? Which one do you want to take it out of?
I don't know which one, the board, whichever one the board suggests.
What was your thoughts, Mr. Williams, when you were asking about the EMS funds compared to the general fund?
Want to know if that fund could sustain this, but it sounds like that money's kind of been earmarked already.
So there's, as of today, will it? Sure, absolutely. My concern is the steady tapping into that, into that funding source. Because at some point we're going to have to start making adjustments to CIP projects. And again, just as Mr. Tadlock indicated, we are going to need to transfer some funds to cover primarily overtime overages this fiscal year.
We recommend that get out of the general fund.
So your motion is to approve it out of the general fund, the $10,000. Okay. Have a second?
Sure.
And just for clarification, it's going to the 3203-5803 in the amount of $12,000.
12,000. I'm sorry, I said 10. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Next item is the opioid abatement fund. These are revenues, monies coming in, 47-5102-3200. Total amount is $6,656.13.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Next item is also opioid abatement funds and interest. Same budget code, 47-5102-3200, $12,961.73.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Right.
All right. Next item is related to the EMS billing monies, moving those monies from the revenue account to the EMS expenditure account, 56-3506-5956, in the amount of $11,843.85.
I'll move that we approve the transfer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes.
All right. The next item we have is the board had amended the personnel policy last month, and it was related to the Department of Emergency Services leave. There was a typo in that in the years of employment from 6 to 10 years. That should have read 14 hours per month instead of the 12 hours per month. And I would just ask the board to approve that correction with the effective date of January 1st, 2026.
Make a motion, move it.
All right. We got a second? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Passes.
All right, next item I have is it's been brought to our attention about some problems with the installation of the regional radio system. And just want to bring everybody up to date. And Mr. Brand, I didn't know if you wanted to.
Yes. There had been some issues with some of the new mobile radios in the sheriff's cars, and it was a couple on the fire trucks. And after Greg Keyser actually found some of the issues, and it was wiring issues, wire connectors not put on ground wires, and it was just, for lack of a better way of putting it, it was just poorly done work. So it was a meeting held with the radio company online. I had the opportunity to listen in on it, and they were willing to address the known issues and not want to go back and redo all of the mobile radio installs to reevaluate them. And I requested that all mobile radios be reevaluated that they install because of the work that was poorly done. And I also went as far as making a comment to them that if they didn't choose to do that, then I was going to make a recommendation to this board to hold back some funding until it was done. Since then, I've had some conversations with engineer from Harris. They have actually come in and made some repairs on the issues that were known. They are coming up with a corrective action plan to address all of the mobile installs. They're going to go back and reevaluate how they were installed to make sure it was done properly. I'm waiting on that plan, and if I don't get a plan in writing, I will come back before this board and ask that we not pay any more money to them until we get their attention to follow through with a corrective action plan. I believe they will. But it was a lot of money this county put up for these new radios to make sure everybody's safe. We need to keep everybody safe, and it's a good product. And it's a shame that they had an individual that didn't take pride in their work. And that individual is no longer with that company. But I'm pretty sure that Harris will make sure that the company that done the installs will come back and make corrections. And everybody will be updated. And I think Smith Point Sea Rescue had some issues. And have your issues been addressed? Okay, well, Chief Bailey will help you with that. But we're gonna stand behind this radio system. It's a good system. I know it's a good system and it's good products, but we just need to keep everybody on their toes and make sure that they do their work correctly and make sure it ends up being a good experience and not a bad one.
And Assistant Chief Harding's online. He has a little bit closer relationship with them, but I can tell you that Harris and their contractor was in market Tuesday and yesterday to address those. We opened up the emergency services base, so they have some climate control area, and they've been very diligent thus far. After that team's conversation, they responded promptly.
Okay, and just follow up with Smith Point Sea Rescue to make sure their issues get addressed. This is why it's very important that we have an individual or two individuals that are on top of this radio system that work for the county. We don't need 5 or 6 people looking at it. We need to get a couple people looking at it. And one thing that I'm concerned about is it's going to be hard for Ethan and Chief Bailey to look at some of this stuff, and they haven't received any training yet. And that was one of my topics I wanted to bring up tonight, is that I know in the contract it was training offered to individuals here in the county in Lynchburg. That needs to take place now, because as we start programming radios and troubleshooting issues and all, the training is there. And you got somebody that's not trained, they're not going to be able to do any of the troubleshooting or the maintenance on the system.
The training included
yes. It's a certain amount of hours that was included in the contract. And I know some of it was programming the radios on how to set the talk groups up and program them and maintain radios and what have you. But it's very good training. I've had that training, and it's very important that we get Chief Bailey and Chief Harding in now to make sure they get that training. But we're going to support you guys through this process to make sure that they do what they're supposed to do.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and thank you all for y'all's support for the project as well.
You had also mentioned the batteries.
Yes. Chief Bailey, we also need to address the issue with the batteries for the for the handheld radios. The ones that were purchased with the radios were not the extended life batteries, and they're not holding up. So we need to find somehow, put together some type of plan to get rid of the batteries that come with these radios, and let's integrate the extended life batteries for these radios, so we don't have any volunteers during the day or anyone during the day walking around with a dead radio.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We'll work on it.
I don't
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I've reached out to Harris to get the name of the contact for getting battery quotes for that. I'm going to work through the contract this weekend and find the exact number of batteries that we need for the fire departments as requested, and try to get that number back before y'all in the February meeting.
Okay.
There's some added for the sheriff's office that we're looking at as well. I spoke to the sheriff the other day. But one way or another, we'll make sure everybody's taken care of.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Great. Next item I have is the maintenance truck that we use for our maintenance supervisor is in need of some repairs, and we want to do that currently while he's out. The total cost on those changes or repairs is $6,874.59. And that was an estimate that we had gotten from Bill Tally Ford.
And I know we asked this before, some of that work local shops can do.
It was some of the work, right. It was concern about exactly what needed to be done. That's why he took it to the dealership.
No competing bids, just one.
He did get one other one from a local shop, and it was fairly close to this estimate. And I had asked for that information. He's out on leave right now, so we can try and get that information back to the board.
Goal is to have his work done while he's out, right? So the truck will be finished when he comes back.
That was what we were looking at trying to do.
This is what we talked about last meeting.
My opinion, it's too nice of a truck to not do the repair work. I'd like to see us go forward with the repairs.
How many miles on the vehicle?
It's about 118,000. It's F-250, 2017. Gas, not diesel.
It ought to go another 75, if not more. When do you anticipate he may return to work?
I'm not quite sure.
How long will repairs take?
I needed to, they could get the vehicle in next week. So I imagine a week or so, I would think they would have it done.
Well, I guess to replace that vehicle, you're looking at about $60,000. If you can get it put up.
If not more. It does have like the snow plow package on it and various things. So.
No, I didn't make a motion. I didn't
know what you made a motion, but he said.
I will make one.
Okay.
Motion to move forward with repairs.
And I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it passes.
The voting equipment item we're going to put on for February. We're getting some additional information, so we'll move that to next month. Just wanted to update the board on some projects coming up, of course, for the 2026. Of course, we're continuing to work on capital improvement plans. We're evaluating other building and facility needs, courts and admin building, old sheriff's office, Lottsburg school building, and of course the animal shelter. Evaluating county-owned properties. Of course, the emergency regional radio system project. We've got the Little Wacomico dredging project. Finalized the comprehensive plan this year, opioid settlement monies, project ideas, Board of Equalization, finalizing the reassessment, ERP and other software needs, and then also the school well voting machines, gas pump and tanks, Northumberland County Courthouse HVAC analysis that we've been discussing. And then, as always, General Assembly, looking at the various bills that are coming up this session. Next item I have is the Board of Equalization, speaking about reassessment. The assessor has finished with their portion of the hearings. The next step is for the Board of Equalization to be formed. I need recommendations from the board members so that we can provide that information to the circuit court judge. The board is just doing a recommendation. The judge actually appoints those individuals.
I have an individual that's
I got one too.
willing.
Okay.
Ready for a name?
You ready?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Long.
Garfield Parker. District 3.
Okay.
And I have a gentleman by the name of Burnell Fallon. And while we're talking about this reassessment, I've received some phone calls in regards to how citizens have been addressed during their meeting with the assessor. And I know they did not like how they were talked to. It was not appreciated, and they felt like they were being talked down to when they were questioning the process and how and why their assessments had went up so high.
I've had the same situation, and I've turned that information over to Luttrell.
And unfortunately, it was by the owner of the firm or the gentleman that's in charge, the complaints that I got. I don't think it's, I think we need to speak to them on that because,
right.
You know, they got good money to come in here to do a job. It was a tough job. And people are upset, but they don't need to be talked down to while they were being interviewed or being questioned. We can't tolerate that.
Question for you. Isn't there a certain percentage of people on this board that need to be from like the real estate or real estate assessment? And where do we stand on that? Because I have to look for somebody that this came on.
There is a certain percentage that has to have background, and I've got that information. I've sent that to the board, but I can resend that information back out. I'm not sure of some of these, the background on your individual, the real estate related. Yes. So yep. That one is
mine's not. So
okay.
Mine is too. You've got more.
She's willing to. That's Sandra Hargett. Okay. So let me go back and take a look at the percentages, and I can let you know.
Thank you.
All right. As far as the Board of Equalization, each board member, we do pay the individual for the day meetings. Previously, we did $100. More recently, I think some of the localities have been looking at $200. So I don't know if the board is willing to do $200 per day. This is going to be a little bit more of a challenge on this reassessment. So I don't know. It also is going to depend on how many days they have to sit in and listen to these various hearings. They do have to have specialized training. We get the state to come in and do that training for each of those individuals. So they get the stipend of whatever the board sets. And then we, in the past, also have done mileage for the individuals. And that's at the current IRS rate, mileage rate. The other thing that we also have to do is we have a secretary for the Board of Equalization, and I'm in discussions with some individuals now. They would be part-time, but they help facilitate the scheduling of these hearings, answer the phone, respond to phone calls. We were looking at $18 an hour for that particular position. So if I do need some action taken by the board so we can start moving forward with some of those items.
What constitutes a day as far as that board is concerned? Do they book so many hearings in a day's time? Is it 8 hours? Is it 6 hours?
So typically, I guess they have done 8 hours in the past. I guess it depends on whatever they can get scheduled for that day. I think last time we did 7 or 8 days for the last reassessment, but I anticipate that being a whole lot higher this time.
What's the average in the Northern Neck pay per day? I'm sure it's more than $100.
I did talk to one adjoining locality, and they did $200 for their most recent Board of Equalization. So
you need that motion, huh?
Unless the board wants me to evaluate some other values, but no, that's,
I think we need to get going and get prepared and have things in place and be ready. It's
Move that we have that $200.
and that's for the panel members.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a second.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I had a just quick question. Is that a 1099 type deal?
yes, I believe it's not what payroll.
It is payroll too.
Yeah.
So we'll be part of that, have to pay part of their payroll taxes over that too. Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Okay, so let's start it over again. All in favor? A second. What?
No, just for clarification, does that include the mileage rate as well? Did that motion include mileage and the $200? Okay, just wanted to clarify.
Okay. All right. We got it approved. Have it a second?
Yep.
Okay. Pass.
All right. So that was for the Board of Equalization. That was approved. And so the next item would be for the secretarial position. What rate does the board wish to compensate that individual?
I'll make a motion that we move forward with $18 an hour for the person that's in that secretarial position.
Okay. We got a motion. We got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. It passes.
All right, cool. I will get back with you, Mr. Harris, too, and let you know and make up. So next item that I want to update the board on is the Little Wacomico dredging project.
Look, Mr. Long.
Well, how are you going to pick that secretary now?
We have some individuals that have assisted with that position in the past that have knowledge of how that position works. So what we are looking at doing is reaching back out to those individuals first. If that does not work, then we're going to need to, if they are not available, then we'll need to come up with a different plan. All right, the next item is the Little Wacomico dredging project update. The joint permit application and Section 4.8 Army Corps form was submitted on December 19th of last year, 2025. Both Army Corps and VMRC have acknowledged receipt and have asked some additional information. We have the PDC, the consultant, VIMS, and county staff have met regarding those specific questions, and we're in the process of answering those questions for those two agencies. The adjoining property owners to the project sites have been notified. There were six in total. Mr. Tab Bass has assisted us in getting that information and those signatures. So all of those signatures have been obtained at this point. The dredge material placement easement and pipeline easement have been finalized by the county attorney. You've signed those tonight. So we will be in the process of trying to get those easements out. They will need to be signed, notarized, and recorded. The other item that we are looking at too is we do have to, one of the items that came through VMRC, we have to get an easement on the oyster ground area where we are disturbing that. So we are trying to work on finalizing that easement and getting that signature.
That's going to be on private ground, not public ground.
That's private ground. VMRC will be taking care of the public ground portion of that. The plan is to still submit an application to the Virginia Waterway Maintenance Fund through VMRC. This is a new program for them, as it was with the Virginia Port Authority. It is my understanding they have shifted the due date of that, or will be shifting the due date from February 1st to March 1st of this year. However, saying that, spoke to the Planning District Commission this morning. They are still moving forward in putting that application together. One of the things that we are looking at doing is moving forward and submitting the application, and we are going to submit it under the aspect of it being an emergency funding request. So I know Mr. Davis will probably be reaching out to Ms. Maynard to try and gather some of the correspondence of support. He may be reaching out to you tomorrow, just to give you a heads up on that. So we are trying to move this forward. And he is expecting to try and submit that by the end of next week. With that being said, there are a couple motions that I would ask the board to consider. The county team will be presenting the easement documents for this project, and Mr. Tad Bass has indicated that he is also willing to assist us with that endeavor. But we do need to ask the board by motion to direct and authorize county staff to proceed with acquiring the necessary easements and related authorizations for the Little Wacomico River Smith Point Channel dredging project as required by the joint permit application in section 408 of the Army Corps of Engineers form.
Motion made.
Have a second. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, it passed. Great.
The second motion that I would ask the board to consider is also to submit a letter of support in moving this application forward through as an emergency funding request, given the severity of the situation that we do have there at the jetty.
Motion made.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, it passes.
All right. Next item I have is their board members were on several committees, and several of those have been vacated. The Northern Neck Regional Jail Board is in need of a member, and the Northumberland County Planning Commission Board Liaison member needs to be replaced.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Fisher for the jail board.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Mr. Fisher, you're on the jail board, sir.
I'll nominate Mr. Brand to the Planning Commission.
All right, got a second now? All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, that passed.
All right, next item I have is that the Northern Neck District Commission, and this is the regional group, the following terms expire December 2025, and that's Mr. Long's term and Mr. Fisher's term. So we either need to reappoint those individuals if they're still willing to serve, and or another member would need to serve.
I will put my name out there as wanting to serve on that board if someone wants to nominate me to do that, or if you want me to do that. Unless you guys want to do it.
I mean, Mr. Long, you want to come off then?
No. No.
You want to stay on it?
Stay on.
You want to stay on? Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Fisher, what you want to do?
If he wants it, that's one less meeting I have to go to.
Okay. All right. Well,
You make the motion, we nominate Chip and Mr. Long. Even Mr. Williams and Mr. Long.
Okay. All right. Can we do both of them same time in Luttrell, or one at a time?
Since they're appointments, I guess let's do them individually.
Okay. So a motion to appoint Mr. Williams.
So
Second. All right. All in favor? All right. Any opposed? All right. You got it, Mr. Williams.
thank you.
All right. Now, Mr.
Motion approved, Mr. Long.
All right. Have a second.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? Mr. Long, you there?
I am.
All right, that's all I have.
All right. So just the next thing is committee reports. Do we have any committee reports? All right. No committee reports. We're going to move on to the Board of Supervisors items. Approval of the check register.
Move that we approve.
All right. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. It passes. Board comments, Mr. Harris. Mr. Long.
Yes, I forgot to ask Mr. Luttrell about the playground. What's the progress on that playground at the elementary? You know,
for the elementary school.
Yeah.
I believe, have they made that part of the CIP proposal? We could find out. I don't know if they submitted that part of their CIP, but we'll find that out.
Yeah,
and get back to you.
Okay, that's all I have.
Mr. Williams?
No.
Mr. Fisher, you have anything?
Nope.
I have nothing. All right. Let's go and we open up our public comments. And Morgan, you can give that list to Mr. Basie. He's going to be my list reader. He doesn't know it yet. He's going to be my list reader. He does a good job. So as we get moving forward, public comments, as you come up, please state your name and your address, and you have 4 minutes to speak. Who we got, sir?
Mr. Chairman, I have one person on public comment signed up, and it's Ms. Sandra Maiden.
Okay. State your name, ma'am, and your address, please.
I would like to provide a name. Okay, some of my colleagues are here tonight, representing my colleagues. Mr. Tadlock, thank you very much. Yes. And I think this is good. We have a lot of great momentum. As such a couple months ago, this project is about our slot house. There are other nearby localities that have gotten state and federal funding. I think I'm excited to think that we may be one of those very good. In the next few weeks and months,
thank you. In the next few weeks and months, there are some significant efforts underway in order to obtain funding, both state and federal, for this project. Delegate Kent, Senator Stewart, and Congressman Whitman are all seeking funding for the actual dredging Little Wicomico Federal Navigation Channel. Today, Congressman Whitman sent out an email blast, if any of you have seen it, asking for people to contact his office and mention that this project is important to them. I can send that information to the Board of Supervisors, and I ask that each of you please reach out and say that this project is important. I would like to really give significant thanks to Mr. Davis, to Mr. Tadlock, to Mr. Gregory, to Mr. Bath, to Ms. Green, Sherwood Forest, Ariane Whitman, Stephen Ott, Dan Smith, Smith Point Marina. I'm hoping I don't miss anybody. Bill Turville, Smith Point Sea Rescue, en masse. Because it's really been the whole consolidation of the efforts that have moved this forward. Mr. Williams has been very keen, has listened to our concerns, and has moved things forward, which I really very much appreciate. So to follow up, I will send the board a email with Mr. Whitman's email that he sent out today, and I ask for your support, and I thank you so much for where we're at today. Thank you.
Thank you. Basically, we don't have anyone else. Is anyone else in the audience like to speak? Anyone else in the audience? State your name and your address, sir.
Hi, I'm John Krebs. I have a place over at Sherwood Forest 27 Spear, and I'm new to Northumberland County as of early 2024. And I got involved with Sandra here on the petition and so forth on the Little Wicomico. And I just want to kind of give this is my first meeting I've ever been to. but I'm in sales in my career that I'm just retiring from. But I can see the need for revenue, and I feel like I'm in a sales meeting here of like, okay, where's the revenue coming from? And as a new homeowner here, I can say I've spent considerable money since we bought the property with Jet Marine, with Lillian Lumber a number of times, Newsom's, Fawn's Cafe, some landscaping contractors, some tree people and whatever. And I don't need to tell you how much money it is, but a lot of money gets driven by the homeowners in these properties. And I've been a long time boater. I'm a Coast Guard six-packs captain. I've spent a lot of time touring a lot of different rivers in the Chesapeake, and I've read the cruising guides that years ago used to say the Little Wacomico was easy to get into, and then several years on says, well, you better not go in. And I've got some friends from New Jersey who sail south every year, and they would have loved to swing in and stop by one of the restaurants or bring their sailboat in, and they can't, and they know they can't. It's in all the cruising guides and information that says that you can't. So I know this is an urgent issue, and it seems like it's been overdue for whatever the reasons are, but I think this is an opportunity from a revenue standpoint to get this done and to publicize that it's done and get the word out that, hey, you can get in here and come and create some activity here that still starts to generate some revenue. And at some point, as I kind of look through these committees here, I just didn't notice anybody talking about the water. I heard people talking about potholes and so forth, and certainly that's important, but I got to say, this is a critical resource opportunity for the county that says, if this is taken care of on a regular, maintained basis, it's going to drive revenue into this county. So that's all I had to say. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Does anyone else like to speak? All right, Morgan, we have anyone online? Anyone online wish to speak? Okay, we will close our public comments. And we will move right on into our public hearing. We got on that, Mr. Tadlock?
So the public hearing was held last month. So the matters before the board at this point for your consideration.
Okay, we have any discussion on this matter tonight?
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Just a couple of comments. The same situation was brought up 20-some years ago in Northumberland County to this board, and only one member that was there then is here now. But at that time, the Board of Supervisors rejected it in their wisdom. And the reason they rejected it, in my opinion, is even greater now than it was then. If an individual wants to build a gazebo on his property, at his waterfront property, he needs to be at least 100 feet back. Yet now we're talking about building them out on the docks. Aren't we defying our logic by keeping them at least 100 feet away from the water, but yet now going to let them build them out on the docks? I can see problems coming up. I can see big screen TV sets out there. I can see surround sound speakers. We had a gentleman stand in front of us a month ago and talk about sound reflection on the water. We all know how that is. Sound travels over the water. And I just think it's not the right thing right now. You say, well, you got boathouses. This is a lot smaller than a boathouse. A boathouse has use 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Maybe in the wintertime, not all boathouses are used, but for the most part, the boathouses are used all the time. I don't see use for these, except minimum from time to time here and there. And someone said, well, you can put your TV set on your dock now. You don't need a gazebo. That's legal right now. Put your sound system out there. That's legal. It is. As long as the sun shines and stars are bright. You say, well, contact the landowners, and if landowners don't object, no problem. But maybe it's not bad for those people that don't object, but how about the whole county as a whole? I think it's just another way of cluttering up our waterways, our very clean, pristine waterways of Northumberland County. And at this time, I'm not in favor of it.
How did and please remind me, how did the planning commission vote on this?
They voted to approve it.
To approve it?
Yes.
Okay. How about, it's got to go before Marine Resources, Virginia Marine Resources. Yeah. What is that process, Mr. Fisher?
They go before them, and there is a contingency in their regulations that with certain agreements to approve them. If you look around, they had an ordinance, I guess it's still in effect. I don't know. But back 20 years ago when satellite dishes was a big thing, everybody bought a satellite dish. Well, a lot of people on waterfront property couldn't get reception because of the trees close to the house. So they wanted to put the satellite dishes out on the dock. And that was stopped. Look around, how many satellite dishes do you see out? I was told today that there is one. Somebody does know of one. But that was the reason for that. And as I say, the reason for the board to reject it 20 years ago, in my opinion, is even greater now than it was then because of the increase of population that Mr. Long just spoke of a while ago.
Got any comments? Anyone else have any comments?
Well, I'll speak in favor of them briefly. I just have a hard time understanding why we would allow boathouses in the county, which to me would be much more offensive potentially than these shelter roofs would. Several months back, we also just approved an ordinance where people can have, was it a canopy top? Is that what it was called? Canopy covers? Boat canopies. I think we're talking about the same thing. And I think if a person wanted to put one of those on the end of their dock and the people across the creek, if the creek was less than 500 feet, they have to be notified, and the people adjacent on either side didn't have any problems with it, then I think they should be allowed to do it. That's it.
Does this require or will require a conditional use permit for each and every one?
The way it's written.
No, I would let staff, I believe that the way they've got it written is, or it was presented was by right. Is that correct? Unless it's objected to.
If they're objected to, it's a conditional use. And if there's no objections, then it would be by right. It would be administratively approved. So if there was objections, it would have to go through the conditional use process and go to the planning commission and the board. But if there are no objections, then it could be administrator approved by the the zoning administrator. So not everyone would, but who knows how many objections you would get.
Are there any stipulations to have in this type of canopy? I mean, what Fisher brought up, the TVs, the speakers,
Yeah, we don't have anything in our ordinance that would prohibit any of that. Like Mr. Fisher said, you could put a TV out on your dock now if you want to, but it'd be exposed to element and salt water. So that is a condition you could put on if y'all wanted to approve it with you didn't want TVs on your sun shelters, you could use that as a condition, or sound systems. You could add that as a condition and say no sound systems or TVs are allowed on the dock.
Have any other questions?
So the planning commission approved this, right?
Yes, sir. They recommended approval.
I would like to see us postpone it to next month. Think about it. That's my recommendation.
You hear what Mr. Long's recommendation was?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I would move that, I would request that we postpone it for another month. Let's vote on it next month.
Mr. Long, with your request to postpone it next month, who would you like to hear from, or what would you like to see additional information regarding this, if we're going to postpone it?
Well, I'd like to see if we can check in one or two of the neighboring counties to see how their procedures. Neighboring counties, what's their procedure on this?
From what I understand, King George allows it, and Essex County allows shelters on their docks.
Do you know whether or not this has come before other localities and they have not approved it?
Lancaster.
It came before them?
Yeah, well, Lancaster doesn't allow boathouses either.
Boathouse.
Right.
They didn't approve it?
They don't allow any roofed area over the water.
Okay.
Sound like me, one of the key players in it is Virginia Marine Resources, and I would like to hear what they got to say.
Okay.
I mean, is it? I mean, I don't have property or waterfront property to have one of these. I don't know all the ins and outs.
Well, Jeff Madden is the representative for the northern neck of VMRC. I'm sure Mr. Tadlock could contact him and give him our next meeting date, right. See if he's available. Mm-hmm. And like it's my understanding that they do have an area to approve them. They don't reject them all. They approve some sometimes, but it depends on the circumstances. So he could come up and give us an insight on that and what to expect in the future with it.
I agree on that. See what Mr. Tadlock can do as far as contact the individual. Try to get him next month.
I'm good with that.
You good with that, Jim? But just keep in mind, this will be the second time we've this off. So next month we need to try to come in here and get this settled and be done. So we have a motion. Mr. Long, you might put that in the motion.
I make a motion that we postpone to next month and try to get someone here that can help us on making the decision.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes. All right, Mr. Tadlock.
Right. The next item we have is a closed meeting. Need a motion that the Northumberland County Board of Supervisors convene in closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Freedom of Information Act, Section 2.2, 3711A1 for the discussion and consideration of personnel matters. Section 2.2, 3711A29, discussion of the award of public contract involving the expenditure of public funds, including interviews of bidders or offers, and discussion of the terms of the scope of such contract for discussion in open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body. Invited to attend the closed meeting as necessary are the county administrator, county attorney, Deborah Bingham, and assistant county administrator as they are deemed necessary, and their presence will reasonably aid the board in its consideration of the topics to be discussed pursuant to Virginia FOIA section 2.23712F.
Okay, Mr. Tadlock, before we make a motion on that, can we take a 10-minute recess? I meant to catch you before you read that. Or can we go on and follow through and?
Yes, we've read in.
So you can just, I can sit on the table until you're ready to take action.
Okay.
So if you want to take a recess.
Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure we push straight.
Then we all picture.
Where you want to set it across the front?
Yeah.
Okay. Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. We're now in closed session. They turn these mics down.
Motion that the Northumberland Board of Supervisors return to public meeting and certify by roll call vote that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by the Virginia Freedom of Information Act and as were identified in the motion, convening a closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered during the closed meeting.
Motion to come into closed session. Roll call vote. Mr. Harris?
Did you have a motion? And a second.
Gotta have a motion.
Yeah, you make a motion.
Make a motion.
I got ahead of myself. Got a second? All right, now roll call votes. Harris? Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher?
Aye.
Mr. Williams? Aye. Brand, aye. So do we need to, if we plan on having a meeting next week or week after, you want to carry over? You want to adjourn this one? And
that's up to the board. However y'all wish to.
What would y'all like to do?
Did you want to take action on the other item? The bid?
Yeah. I was just asking that question.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I got ahead of myself one time. I can't do it twice. Yeah, so
motion to reject the bids for the demolition of the school trailers.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It passed. Now, what would y'all like to do? You want to adjourn this meeting and reopen, or you want to just carry it over? Don't make no difference either way.
I guess this is a joint meeting. You could just adjourn this one and then carry into the joint meeting.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
Okay, now we got
What you got, mister?
what day is that?
I don't think we set a date for Todd.
We didn't set a date for Todd yet. No, the 4:30 was for the school board. We need to.
We got a date on the 14th, right?
Yes.
14th and 15th for this one day.
And I guess, and I'm glad you brought that up because, Luttrell, I guess we do need to set a date and time that the board can meet with the Commissioner of Revenue.
Jim Penny, and I'd like to invite the Planning Commission there and Stuart Kenzie too.
Okay. Well, we'll let Mr. Tadlock send in some dates and times and we'll get that straight. All right.
Are you all looking at that being a day meeting or a night meeting or whenever we
I don't
get
think day meeting if we can get it.
All right. Then we'll see what we can get set up. But
late afternoon, start at 3, you'll be out of here by 4:30.
Right.
And that's fun. It's fun.
Okay, now our next meeting is the 14th, right?
4:30, yes, sir.
4:30.
And it's 14th, 15th.
14th and 15th.
15th. 15th.
Huh?
15th.
Not the 14th?
Yeah, I think am I right? I think mine is up to Thursday, 15th. Thursday, 15th.
It's Thursday, 15th.
Okay, got it. Got it. 4:30.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we got one on the 21st too.
Well, that's dependent on if the school board is able to accommodate us.
Right.
True. I'm sure they will. They want to meet this much as we do.
No, nothing. What do we got? Anything on the 21st?
How's Curtis?
I think Curtis is doing good.
I talked to him yesterday and he sounded real cheerful.
Okay.
Said he was healing well.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't remember anything on the 21st.
Huh?
Did you see that picture on Facebook where they cut him? You didn't see that?
21st, we're trying to meet with school board.
Yeah, straight on.
On the 21st, we're going to try to meet with the school board.
That's the 15th.
Okay, we had some on the 21st too.
Thank you. We need a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, but let's clarify this, the 21st. We got
21st. But didn't we have some on the 21st?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Believe so.
No problem.
We're gonna make go ahead off that motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
So on the 15th, right?
Yes.
Jimmy, what you brought up about the public having problems, those people over there next door, I didn't say too much about it, but I got the same situation. People from my area, and one of them, you got the information. How you get up to the guy's name? I sent you the email.
Plugs it in.
Wait a minute, we've got.
Yeah, let's finish this.
We've got a motion on the table.
Okay. Got a motion on the table.
No, go ahead. Go ahead and finish up. We'll make sure we get finished.
I think it was Donald Mullison. Remember we talked about it on the phone and I sent you that email? He was complaining about the way that people were being treated.
Oh, you're talking about the reassessment?
Reassessment next door.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So are we going to do anything about this? Or are we going to let it slide? Or
No, we need to address it.
The citizens deserve better.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's not an isolated thing.
No. And I think we need to address it.
Yeah.
Luttrell don't want to be putting them at 11. I don't have a problem saying so.
No, I mean, I certainly reach out to him.
Give him a baseball bat and let him walk all over it.
When was committed meet, reassessment committee?
He hasn't set any of that up. The judge has to appoint him. All right, we got a motion to adjourn. Okay, we have a second. What you need, Mr. Fisher?
I'm done.
You done? You got a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.